We're gonna
This
do
is not the
baseball, 'cause
Stone
y'all
Age.
talk-
We
y'all-
know words.
We'll let y'all do baseball real quick because y'all
All right,
y'all,
do
y'all
baseball.
jumped into baseball every break. So let y'all finish off. And
Not
and
every
and
break.
Yell at
We've
the
talked
Rays
about
and
it
the
in
Dodgers.
one break, and
Okay.
it was especially that the manager for the Rays choked it. That was a bonehead call. It really was. This is one of those opportunities where you can feel it, the momentum wise is all for the Rays because the Dodgers can't get a hit to save their life. None of their guys can. At that time, Blake Snell had only let up his second hit of the game, and we were in the 6th inning against that kind of firepower team in the Dodgers. And you're up in that moment, and Snell looked, and it wasn't that he was, slowing on his fastball. He was still hitting in the high 90s what he was throwing. I just don't understand that move, and I know what everybody's saying online, what all the major media corporations are saying is analytics, 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 and you're right. That showed you in that moment that sometimes analytics you don't need to go to them in certain situations. And there's a difference between what you would do in the regular season and what you need to do in the postseason. In the regular season, usually you have 162 games, or at least this year, you had 60, which if you do want to pull him in the 6th inning and go to one of your relievers, I get that. That's what analytics has told you you're supposed to do. Don't let him see the, top of the lineup for a third time. Percentage that they hit it is going to be higher. But not in this moment. Not this is playoff baseball where you want your best players, not just playoff baseball. Excuse me, this is a World Series. This is game 6 and you're down. You can't afford, as Kevin almost ripped his head off, you can't afford to make it's almost like a gut. You got to go with a gut call here.
Here's one thing nobody's talking about. Tampa Bay only scored 1 run that last game.
Oh, they did.
You know what I mean? And everybody's talking about that pitching decision, but you scored 1 run. So, I mean.
1-0 still wins, though.
Yeah, it does.
And that's how they've won a lot of games.
Yeah.
But wasn't there a graphic that come on saying that Blake Snell had not went past 6 innings in like 16 or 17 games? Even in the regular season?
It was something like that. Yeah, usually that's as far as he went.
Most people.
And
I think most
complete games out of him are not much.
With the analytics, most starting pitchers are getting taken out by the 6th or 7th inning because it is the nerds are saying don't let them see that batter for the 3rd time. Most guys are batting around 300, so they got this is their 3rd opportunity to hit it if they have it the first 2 times.
Plus, I think it contributes to the longevity of the pitcher too.
Probably they can go more, but but he can't. After this, he can't pitch again, so you might as well have left him in.
Well, my whole deal in behind every bit of this is I have a hard time. Kansas City's one who brought this and made it good because when Kansas City had it, you had Herrera in the 7th.
You got to have the bullpen.
Then you went to Davis in the 8th. Then you went to Holland in the 9th. But those guys knew those were their innings. So, so your starter, 6 innings. That's all you got to give us. And I've got people for these other teams don't have people for that. You don't have a specific inning you're coming in to say, okay, my inning's the 7th. I got to get us through the 7th. Because each one of those led up to the next guy. In baseball now, it's not like that. They don't have it like Kansas City had it. And for, I don't know, Cash, young guy, he made a mistake. I mean, it's simple. But now, you know what? He's going to have to pay for that. And a lot of people's going to question, why did you do that? Snell's going to question, why did you do that?
I think that's the one that should be the most upset the most is Blake Snell because you could see it on his face when that manager started to walk out there how upset he got.
I mean, but what pitcher wants to be taken out in that situation anyway? That's
Nobody
what you live
does.
your whole
Exactly.
life for.
I haven't lost the lead. And I'm still winning.
He hasn't lost the lead. And think about it. It's different by the 6th inning if you can tell the guy's getting gassed and the guys are starting to make contact. That hit that he gave up and then the manager came out, that was only his 2nd hit allowed of the game. That's it.
And didn't he have like the top 3 guys of those that he is going to face? He had struck like 5 or 6 of them out.
Yeah, the next batter was Mookie Betts.
Let's get ready to
say Mookie Betts had not hit good against left-handed pitchers all year.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he was below 200.
Mm-hmm. And then they brought in a right-handed pitcher, and the RBI double happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Betts was weird. Like, thank you.
And guess what? That's all it took for the Dodgers to catch fire.
All analytics aside, if you're going to beat me, you're going to beat my best guy. if you beat my best guy, then you beat me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I don't understand why I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how I looked
all
at
the
it.
other junk aside, this guy, like you said, we've got the momentum. He's doing well.
You at least stay
this
with
data
him.
says this. I don't care.
This is
my.
This is game
my
6,
guy.
and
But
we're down.
You beat my guy. You beat me.
This is game 6,
But
and we're
we
down.
also know if he'd have left him in, and they would have, I say Betts would have hit one out, and all of a sudden they take the lead, everybody go, why didn't you take him out?
Yeah, they probably would have, Terry.
I mean, that's what would have happened.
It's all speculation.
I don't.
Yeah.
But see, I think you have a point, but then I also think I'm not sure about that because he was already cooking anyways. It could have just been that Betts got lucky. You know,
Yeah.
he just maybe hung one where he hadn't the
Yeah.
whole first
Oh, I
6
agree.
innings that he
I
had.
agree.
And plus, it's bets. I mean, it's not like it's some chump. You know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
no,
true.
that
It's,
whole
you know,
dude, 1
I mean-
through 5 for the Dodgers is probably one of the most dangerous 1 through 5s that they are more dangerous than
that's what I'm
Atlanta.
saying.
I'll give him that.
No matter who you bring in, and Betts gets a hit, it's Mookie Betts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's
he
it.
gets a hit.
That's
so,
why
so,
the Dodgers went and got him.
Yeah, but,
you know,
yeah,
it's
but
been
if,
simple.
But if
That's
he,
all I've
yeah,
heard.
But
Yeah.
if he hits your best pitcher, I think you're going to catch less grief than if he hit, the guy that comes in because
Yeah, I agree.
it's like, well, if I was a manager, well, he was doing well. I know the guy's an MVP. My left-handed pitcher's pitching well. He doesn't hit left-handed pitching as well as he does right-handed. What do you want me to
Well,
do?
I mean,
You
and
know?
think about it.
What do you want me to do?
If analytics was one of the main reasons why he pulled Snell because he didn't want to see him for the 3rd time, okay, cool. Then why did you if you knew all of the analytics, why'd you not put another left-handy in from the bullpen,
I
knowing
know.
that
See,
Betts couldn't hit the lefty?
I don't know. Everything was how many lefties they had there, availability, what was Betts' batting. I
I
mean, there's
don't
all
know.
kinds of crap
Yeah.
that would go into that decision. But I'm just telling you, I mean, I'm not totally against analytics. Like if just swerving the football a little bit, I know that, going on 4th down in certain situations is going to be better off for you than punting. I mean, I understand
Throwing
that, but
on first down
Yeah.
statistically, yada yada. Yeah, I get that.
Not in this situation.
But
This is not in this situation.
I've heard this from a couple people that are in the professional aspect of it on television, and I agreed with what they said because analytics has a part of sports now. It does. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. The numbers, the data, and it works for the most part. But there are some moments when it gets postseason time, sometimes you got to throw them out the door.
Analytics are for fans and people who've never played, couldn't play, only could play so far, and for things to be able to break down. If you're sitting there, again, we talked about this at one point. Remember, if the batting average is 310 and somebody's batting 280, that's actually 3%, not 30%.
Right.
And the way we say it out loud is batting 320. He's batting 30 points higher. He's batting 3%. So you're telling me this 3% chance that I got to make this change or got to do this over a 3% chance.
Well, I can tell you this, Kevin. I wasn't very good at anything, and I don't like analytics.
I don't like
it. It just seems to me like it seems to me it gives people on TV and radio a lot of. I know we're sitting here on the radio, but I mean like a lot of the things to talk about. Or LaRussa, it seems like to me, started this junk, and he just got high. Him and Dave
White
Duncan,
Sox.
they were real involved in it. And
Just hired him.
And they used to make Cardinals fans and Dad and I both mad about how he used to change pitchers a lot, especially when a guy was dealing. I don't know how many times a guy was doing good, and you take him out, and you just like, oh goodness, here we go, because you might not trust half the bullpen or whatever. So we put asterisks on this one.
No, it's a championship.
I told
Championship is
Hunter-
a
I
championship.
told
Same
Hunter-
rules for everybody.
Yeah, but the Dodgers did not have to play the Royals, Indians, or Cardinals to win this championship. So I'm not sure what they've got to come some type of action. All they had to do is beat the Braves. They don't ever win anything.
I thought it was,
Can I argue that series was more difficult than the Rays series? I can argue that, right? Because we took them to 7 games,
I just hate it for the
and we're
Braves.
up 3-1. Now I don't want to think about that part.
If there's
but
anybody else who understands what it's like to be a Cleveland Browns fan, it's an Atlanta Braves fan. I'll say that. It's
that was
like
tough.
when your team should certainly go to the World Series.
Tom.
I deal with that with the Braves, and every time Georgia plays Alabama,
Last time Braves
we
won
get
the
up
World
at
Series
halftime
was
and then we blow it.
Yeah.
All right,
the
I don't
year
want
after the Cowboys.
No, I don't want to think
did.
about it.
There's a
Yeah.
big difference between Cleveland and Atlanta.
And
I mean, at least Atlanta won one in 1995. It's been 1845 since y'all won one.
I'll be 1964, Terry.
Oh, 19. Okay.
64.
Get your years straight, Terry. I know that
Okay.
you.
I was
I'm
just
not sure
wondering.
what you teach over there at West Lincoln. I'm sure it's
Okay.
like basic life skills or something. But
Right.
1964. Okay.
Okay. All right. 19.
I don't put an asterisk next to this. I don't.
No, I don't.
No,
it's
I
a
don't.
championship.
It's a championship.
I don't.
Everybody
I mean, I
went
could
through the
argue.
same
I
thing.
could argue. I want to put an asterisk next to the Lakers championship. That's just because I don't want to credit LeBron as much as he needs it. But for this, no. And no matter how much I didn't want to see the Dodgers win it,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, it's just on to next year. On to next year, and continue with football.
Well, I mean, obviously, talking about the asterisk for basketball. I mean, I say crown LeBron as the greatest of all time for winning a basketball tournament in a ballroom against the starting lineup featuring 2 missing starters and no 7-footers.
It was the
But
same,
other than that,
same-
it was pretty hard.
It was the same for everybody. I don't argue with the LeBron people anymore though, because arguing with the LeBron people, it's kind of like arguing with somebody with just their political views. They will not consider any other evidence against their political views. That's how it is when you argue with LeBron James. It's like he takes games off. No, he doesn't. He averaged 93% of the games. Yeah, he takes
7% he did.
Exactly. He takes 7% of the games off. Michael
Listen,
Jordan did.
this
Like
is-
you could tell him Michael Jordan won every finals he was in. Michael Jordan didn't bounce. Michael Jordan didn't hit another team. He hit the weight room. I mean, even if you don't like him, and I can understand why people don't like him sometimes because he can be a jerk, just like anybody else. But at the same time, what he did on the court speaks
It's
for
the
itself.
same. It's the
too hard to
same
argue
thing with
It's just too hard to
these
argue with.
analytics and just making up numbers. It's the same reason why people love LeBron. And I like watching LeBron. Don't get me wrong. I think LeBron's super
He's a
talented.
generational,
and
generational
And I will
player.
never take
He's
that away
the
from
best
him.
player in
But-
there right
yeah,
now.
But I
Yeah.
will say this:
Yeah.
it's all stat heads. It's all stats. He's he's second on this list and he's third on this list and you have to look at when they get up on those lists. And yes, you have to be a great player to begin with to be even considered to be on that. But at the same time, that's kind of a longevity
You know what?
thing.
You know what somebody told me too. That's like, well, and I'm not like Kevin, like a Michael Jordan fan, but I know what Michael Jordan did on the court.
You saw.
He said, well, I said, well, he won these championships. He goes, well, he back then he just he beat a bunch of unemployed construction workers. And
I've
all
heard
this
the
guy.
same thing. I've heard the same
It's
thing.
like so Isaiah Thomas.
Listen,
was
I
no
had a
good.
guy in my on one.
Yeah.
I had a guy in one of our Zoom calls after LeBron won ask, "So is LeBron the GOAT?" I said, "There's no way in hell. I'm sorry, there's not." And then I told him, I said, "You got to think about 6 for 6," and that's exactly what he said. That's
yeah.
exactly what he said. He said, and I know we're still on, baseball. We can
Yeah.
move on that.
Yeah.
All it was the World Series, and congratulations to the whatever Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Anyways, yes, but I told him, I said, you can't discredit who he played. Think about it. Stockton and Malone both are at the top of their respective. I think Stockton's on top of 2 respective
Assists and
statisticals:
steals.
assists and steals, and Carmelo's all-time leader in points.
Second points.
Or second in points. What, isn't Kareem first? Okay. Well, still, he's up there, top 5. And I'm like, you can't dismiss that who Michael played. Don't act like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp weren't, beasts
Yeah,
at their time.
yeah.
And he said Sean Kemp couldn't hold LeBron James' jockstrap. And I'm like, whoa,
Sean
okay.
Kemp was pretty good.
Listen,
Gary Payton was pretty good.
Well, 2 guards since '85, 1 defensive player of the year. One of them was Jordan, the other was Gary Payton.
I'm telling you.
that match.
And you know what? It being the Seattle Supersonics was like being the second best guy when Tiger Woods was lapping the field.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle would have had some championships if it wasn't for freaking Michael Jordan.
LeBron's never lost
You know?
in the first round.
All right.
I didn't see LeBron play against the 3 or 4 Hall of Famers Boston had, and then
That's
all
exactly
of
what
the
somebody else.
and then everybody that Detroit had. I'm sorry,
You're
didn't-
the best at winning first round series.
didn't-
Are you kidding me?
Didn't Detroit and Boston both those times go on to win championships?
Oh my god!
It's just
Oh my god!
it's just fun to have those conversations.
It's not. After a while, it's not though,
Right.
because once you show somebody. Now, I think the one thing. How many finals has he been to? Like 10.
Oh, he's been to like 10 to 11.
So I
straight.
mean, that's the strongest argument point for him that he's been to the finals so many times. But they instead of going with that, they go with he's never lost in the first round. I'm like, he's never lost. Are you kidding me?
So the first
Never
round
lost in
losses.
the first round.
I'm glad you said that. I will. I was going to get into something. We'll finish up. But the first round losses, I looked that up last night. They were the first 3 years of his career.
Yeah.
The first year was the Cocaine Express. his rookie year, the Cocaine Express got beat in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks, who had the Defensive Player of the Year that year in Sidney Moncrief. The next 2 years, he lost in the first round to the champion Celtics.
Yeah.
The next 3 years, he lost to 2 out of 3 was the champion Pistons. The third year was the Scottie Pippen didn't play Game 7 game.
Yeah.
So that's the teams he lost to all made the final. Every team he lost to made the finals. When he lost in 95 when he came back, lost to Shaq, made the finals. So not once did he lose to a scrub team in the a 4 or 5 or whatever seeds they were, and when he was the best player in the world. So it's just silly to.
And
even
could you
get
imagine
into
if LeBron James did lose in the first round? The minute he lost that
That's like his
series, he'd be
career's
on
not
the
over.
phone to another team.
Oh, yeah.
Where can I go? Get me some help.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And they try to say he didn't have any help too. I said,
Don't-
Dwayne Wade and Bosh were no help in
Yeah.
Miami.
The only problem I have with him is I give him a lot of credit because he is the best player in the NBA. I'm not going to take that away. He probably is.
No.
But I will question him when he gets around, I want my credit too. And, and I'm like, okay, you got a LA jersey on. You've won one. Don't come with me with that. There's a lot of people that are way ahead of you. Do you make the top 10? I don't even know whether you make the top 10 in LA.
Yeah.
As the greatest.
So what you're kind of alluding to, Terry, was another thing I was. Again, you watch on YouTube and it keeps rolling through. So, yeah, I clicked on one and it ended up being like 4 or 5, but one of them did a clip. So it was this video, and he went through showing the different Hall of Famers, even Isaiah Thomas and Chris Webber and Kenny Smith. And Hakeem Olajuwon said the same thing you just said, don't take anything away from LeBron, but he said Michael was way better. That's Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, but the rest of them, what they did say, almost to a T, almost every single one from Scottie Pippen, everyone who played then, said, I've never heard anyone call themselves the greatest ever other than that guy. And that bothers all of them. They're like, every single one of them's like, so who says that? Even Michael, because they interviewed Michael. They showed a clip of Michael talking about, he don't know. It could be Bill. It could be Kareem. He always said, if you ask Michael, and Terry probably notices it maybe more than anybody, he always mentions Jerry West.
Yes.
Every single time he could name, if you name the top 10, Jordan's going to say Jerry West's name. No, I've never seen Jerry West play, obviously, so I can't say anything about it. But he always says Jerry West. So that's one of the names that he brings up, and it's just I think it's a weird conversation that when
Well, that's just like when they named the MVP, and now all of a sudden he's questioning how that's done. I'm like, LeBron, okay, so you didn't win it. I mean, he thinks like every year now I'm the best. I should get it every year.
Right. They all use the words disrespectful with it. And I've said that throughout his whole career. The whole 23 number thing was disrespectful. You say I'm the greatest and then I'm going to wear your number.
Yeah.
Like it's not even that's what if that's what he's playing for. But again, Terry, whether or not perfection in the finals, and he didn't, before Brady won the 6th one, let's say he had 5-2. People were still arguing Montana was 4-0. Like, if you're 4-0, you got to win more than me if you lose one, right? So every one you lose, you get to take one off. So people could say Brady's only at 3-0 right now. Or no, now he's got 4 because he's got 6 if you do the math on it. But if you do the math, LeBron's at -2 right now. So, again, and then like Tom said, or talk about that, or y'all guys talking about that first round thing, and that's just a weird thing for me to hold against a 22-year-old. That you got beat by the champions in the first round with the Cocaine Express and nobody else on your team averaging 20. Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We lost. You're done. Yeah. You lost to the Argentinians, and you're going to say the first round loss is more important than losing to the Argentinians and shaming the whole country in front of the world. Well, insane. But back to baseball real quick.
Country, I wouldn't put it that way.
Oh, he shamed the country, Tom.
I would just say that you were beating international competition by a more disciplined, more fundamental basketball team. Shaming the country, that's like dictator stuff.
No, that was shaming.
You lost, you shamed the country.
That was a shame the country.
Dishonor.
I'll slap you. I'll give you the slap of shame.
Well, every one of them, they could just send every one of them to China. That's where they get all their money from and their shoe deals.
Okay.
So they could have played for that
Could
team.
you see Coach Kevin after the game? You lost. You have shamed your uniform.
Is there any excuse for them losing to Manu Ginobili, Fabricio Alberto?
Manu's pretty good.
No, Manu's awesome. But I'm saying it was Manu and a bunch of folks that we've never heard of.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like it was 5 Manus. The Olympic team has 12 NBA players.
I would like to look at too, though, is You know what I've not really thought too much about is the way they would officiate international basketball versus NBA basketball.
Oh, it's way different.
Yeah, you know what?
You can't take the two step to gather,
and that would hurt NBA players because now you can't do the thing. You have to be more fundamentally sound because you can't break the rules like they do in the NBA. So I mean, that would have something to do with it too.
And 99% of the international players couldn't play for North Carolina Tar Heels. So
I don't know about that.
Let's worry about the travel rules. Yes, they allow the Euro step, Tom. They allow the Euro step. All right, real too early power rankings. Cleveland at 12, Cardinals at 13, Braves were at 2, Angels at 17.
Cleveland's going to sell the whole team.
And
they may. The scariest thing is, I'll just get this: Cleveland may move in 2023. There's kind of the rumor mill, which kind of scares me.
Going to Akron?
No, they're the Nashville, Tennessee.
Charlotte.
That's the next place that wants a team.
Hey, we'll have to come to Charlotte. We wouldn't have changed teams. They come to you, Tom.
Yeah,
they're just going to change their nickname
to the Centofantes.
You know that
Charlotte
franchise is
Centofantes.
worth. The Cleveland Indians are worth $1 billion. I mean, still. I mean,
Also, if you move to this part of the country, if they move to Charlotte, there's plenty of Indian tribes. around here.
Well,
Like,
not just that. I thought you were going to mean like
Top
they're really
Indians
not.
just met
They're
with
not
the
losing a
president.
fan base because I know Indian fans around here.
Kansas
Well,
City, Terry, bake your bets
My cousins
now.
are from Ohio, so they are Indians fans.
150-1, Terry, for the Indians odds next year.
Might put about
they already
100,
put Brad
200
Hand. They
on
already
that.
waived Brad Hand. They're going to trade Lindor. It's going to be a fire sale. I mean, they're getting rid of her because they lost so much money with this coronavirus crap. They may turn into the Kansas
Fire
City
sale.
Royals.
Fire
Tom,
sale.
Indians 20-1, Cardinals 31. You're talking about fire sales. Cardinals are talking about and letting Wainwright and possibly Molina go. We just let Colton Wong go. Wong was he seems like he hit it. He's one of those players that hit a ceiling. I don't think he's ever going to get better, but he's good. But I don't know. Letting that one go that's one of those ones. If somebody's going to pay him too much, let him walk. You know what I mean?
Tom, I can tell you guys,
but-
guy you guys can sign because we probably won't sign him back is Marcell Ozuna because there's no guarantee that the DH is universal now.
Also, Hunter, Braves have sent in words to Wainwright trying to get him back. So
Well, come
the
on.
Braves have already contacted.
We've
Adam
already
Wainwright.
released O'Day.
I don't know what's going to happen to Molina. They better not let Molina walk away. What's the point? They ain't got nobody in the minors that's worth crap. The guy that plays behind him he's not he's not any good. So I don't know what their plan is. Saving money. Congratulations. At what point, what the fans, Terry, you just say, you talk about it. After 30, 40 games, you don't even have to watch the 120.
No, you don't.
You cannot watch 75% of the games. Last weekend, the number I threw at him, Tom, is that you could miss 60 baseball games, Indians games a year, and watch the 100, and you would still watch more of those games than you would if you watched every NBA game and every NFL game at 98.
Oh, I know. It's too
So
many.
you could miss almost 70% of the season or 45% of the season. So, all right. So, Braves in the World Series next year, Hunter? That's not the response.
I'm just saying.
fish.
Listen, I'm very positive, and I think we've got a great club, and especially if we are to add another pitcher. I've heard a bunch of mumblings about how Braves, like the fan base as a whole, they don't think that Trevor Bauer is going to want to stay in Cincinnati. As much of a head case as he is, the guy can pitch. So if you can bring him in, then that just bolsters what you already have as probably a solid, if not the deepest starting five pitchers in baseball. And same now with Wainwright. The more I hear, as much as I'm going to miss Marcell Ozuna, we got bats for days right now. So if the whole league is not accepting universal DH, we would have to give up an outfielder probably and put him out there. And
who do you put behind him? You've been lucky. You had Donaldson, then you had Ozuna.
I know it's
you
tough,
know,
man.
It keeps getting harder to put somebody good behind Freeman. Because
I
Freeman, gets a lot of better pitches if somebody stuck behind him that's good.
It's tough. It is a tough situation, but just looking at it for next year, if we do get an extra pitcher, I say we're the favorite at least. I'm not going to go World Series. Make it back to the NLCS. Absolutely.
So you're going to give it back to the Dodgers again?
I know. Dodgers might have. I don't know. The Padres might
JP.
give Dodgers a run for their money next year.
All right, JP, you ready?
So far, 1, 2, and 3 in that power poll. Dodgers, Braves, Padres, all National League teams.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we'll be back in a minute. We got to do football picks. Stay tuned for football picks. NCAA, NFL coming up next. KTCBroadcasting.com.
When is being different a good thing? Well, at Friendship Jeep Dodge Ram in Forest City, our customers say we're different. Look at our Google reviews. They say we're different too. We have the region's only non-commissioned sales force. We use no haggle, clear choice pricing, and we have the only lifetime warranty with no time or mileage limits. When our customers leave, they say, that was a great experience. And that's where we're most different. That's Friendship Jeep Dodge Ram, and we're located in Forest City.
Spending too much time at home with nothing to do? Then go shopping. That's right, go shopping at whatsupshopper.com. Local area businesses are featuring their products and services on whatsupshopper.com. You can also play our contest.